The wedding ceremony had just begun. The bride walked in with her bridesmaids and everyone applauded. However, when they saw who she was marrying, they burst into laughter. They laughed at the homeless man who was sitting in a wheelchair and had no idea what was happening. But when the bride revealed the wedding gift she received from him, everyone burst into tears. What was inside the wedding gift? Let's find out in today's story. Meet Lisa, a beautiful black woman in her early 20s. She was getting married to a handsome white man named Michael. However, he wasn't your typical rich, good-looking groom. In fact, Michael was homeless and lived on the streets. Despite this, Lisa loved him dearly and couldn't wait to spend the rest of her life with him. Lisa's family and friends were shocked when she told them about her fiancé. They couldn't understand why she would choose to marry a homeless person. On the day of the wedding, everyone showed up, including Lisa's family and friends, who still had questions about Michael and his relationship with Lisa. As soon as the guests arrived at the wedding venue, they started laughing and making fun of Michael. They thought it was hilarious to make jokes about his appearance and the fact that he was homeless. Lisa tried to ignore them, but it made her sad because she loved Michael and didn't think he deserved to be treated that way. When it was time for the ceremony to begin, Lisa walked down the aisle with her father. As she approached the altar, she saw Michael sitting in a wheelchair. He looked nervous and uncomfortable. Lisa felt a pang of sympathy for him and wished she could take away his pain. Despite the laughter and jeers from the guests, the ceremony went on as planned. Lisa and Michael exchanged vows and rings. They promised to love each other for the rest of their lives. And finally, they sealed it with a kiss. Everyone applauded as the newlyweds made their way back down the aisle. They were happy for Lisa, but they couldn't help but feel sorry for her. No one understood why she had chosen to marry a homeless man. As the reception began, the guests started to take their seats. They were served food and drinks while they waited for the bride and groom to arrive. When Lisa and Michael entered the reception hall, everyone turned to look at them. The guests were curious to see what kind of wedding gift the homeless man had brought for Lisa. Lisa's family and friends had already given her a lavish wedding gift. They had pooled their money together and bought her an expensive engagement ring. They also gave her a large sum of cash so she could have the wedding of her dreams. Lisa was grateful for their generosity, but she knew that Michael wouldn't be able to afford such an expensive gift. As Michael made his way to the head table, he was met with laughter and jeers from the guests. They made fun of his appearance and asked him why he had chosen to marry Lisa. Michael tried to ignore them, but it was difficult. He felt humiliated and ashamed. Michael took a deep breath and tried to calm himself down. He knew that he had to do this for Lisa. He had never seen her so happy and he didn't want to ruin her special day. Michael slowly opened the gift bag and pulled out a small box. The guests leaned in to get a better look at the gift. Inside the box was a beautiful diamond ring. It was the same style as the one Lisa had been wearing since the ceremony. The guests gasped in surprise. They couldn't believe that Michael had managed to buy such an expensive gift. Michael then reached into his bag again and pulled out a stack of cash. He placed it on the table and said, "This is all I have for you, Lisa. I hope you like it." The guests were stunned. They had never seen so much cash in their lives. Lisa's family and friends were shocked. They couldn't believe that Michael had managed to save up enough money to buy such an expensive gift. The amount of cash alone was more than they had given her. Lisa was in shock. She couldn't believe that Michael had gone through so much trouble to buy her such an extravagant gift. As Michael stood up to speak, the guests fell silent. They were eager to hear what he had to say. "I know that I am not the richest man in the world," Michael began, "but I wanted to give my wife the best wedding gift I possibly could. I've saved up for years to buy these gifts and I hope that she will accept them." The guests nodded in understanding. They realized that Michael's love for Lisa was more valuable than any wedding gift. Michael looked at Lisa and said, "You are the most beautiful woman in the world and I love you with all my heart. I promise to make you happy for the rest of our lives together." Lisa's eyes filled with tears as she heard Michael's words. She hugged him tightly and whispered, "I love you too." The guests burst into applause. They had witnessed something truly special, a love that transcended social status and material possessions. After the reception, Lisa and Michael went to their hotel room. They were exhausted but happy. They had had the perfect wedding day. As they unpacked their gifts, Lisa found a card from her family and friends. It read, "Congratulations on your wedding day. We are so happy for you. We know that you will make an excellent couple and we wish you nothing but the best in your future together." Lisa smiled as she read the card. She knew that her family and friends had come around to accepting Michael. However, she could tell that they still had some questions about him. As Lisa and Michael were enjoying their honeymoon, they received a call from one of Lisa's friends. "How could you marry a homeless man?" her friend asked. "We were worried about you. You could have done so much better." Lisa sighed. She had expected this question. "I know that Michael isn't rich or famous, but that doesn't mean that he's not good enough for me. I love him with all my heart and that's all that matters." Her friend was silent for a moment. "Well, I guess I understand," she finally said. "But I still think you could have done better." Lisa hung up the phone. She knew that her friend meant well, but she couldn't understand why she had to choose a rich, famous husband. Just then, Michael put his arm around Lisa's shoulder. "Don't listen to her," he said. "You are the most important person in my life. That's all that matters." Lisa leaned against Michael. She knew that he was right. One day, while Lisa and Michael were out shopping, they ran into one of Lisa's family members. "How are you doing?" Lisa asked. "Good," her family member replied. "Everyone here is talking about you and Michael. They want to know how you managed to marry a homeless man." Lisa rolled her eyes. "Here we go again," she thought. "I don't know how people keep coming up with these rumors," her family member finally said. "They keep asking me if you are sure that Michael isn't your sugar daddy. They also want to know how he managed to buy you such expensive gifts." Lisa sighed. "I guess people will believe what they want to believe," she said. Suddenly, Michael cleared his throat. "Actually, I'm not homeless and I'm not poor," he said. Lisa and her family member were shocked. "What?" Lisa asked. "Why haven't you told me this before?" Michael smiled. "Because I wanted to show you that I didn't need money to love you. I know that people will judge me for being rich and famous, but I promise you that my love for you is real." Lisa's family member was stunned. She couldn't believe that she had been talking to a rich, famous man the whole time. She apologized for judging Michael and said that she was happy for him and Lisa. As the news of Michael's wealth spread, everyone wanted to be associated with him. Lisa's family and friends started calling her non-stop. They invited her and Michael to parties and events. They also started asking for money. Lisa was overwhelmed by the attention. She didn't understand why people suddenly cared about her and Michael. She missed the days when she and Michael could walk around the city without being recognized. One day, Lisa sat down with Michael. "Why did you hide your wealth from me?" she asked. "I didn't want you to marry me because of my wealth," he replied. "I wanted you to marry me because I loved you." Lisa understood what Michael meant. He didn't want to use his wealth to buy her love. He had shown her that he loved her for who she was, not for her family's money. Lisa was grateful for Michael's honesty. She knew that she had found a man who loved her for her and not for her family's wealth.